everybody. So today's Monday. That means it's time for family movie night. And this week we're continuing on my teen month series. This is the second year in a row that June has been my teen month. And we are talking about one of the classic teen movies ever made. We're talking about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It is a really interesting movie because it can be enjoyed as just a fluffy, fun, escapist teen movie. But then I think it has some deeper moments, and there's an emotional heft to the movie that you don't necessarily expect, and that I think makes it a really, really good movie with some really good performances. And so I'm going to have a lot of fun talking about it. So Ferris Bueller's Day Off was written and directed by John Hughes, of course, the master storyteller from the 80s. And it's about a kid named Ferris who decides that he is going to show his friend Cameron the perfect day, and he's going to take a day off of class. It's his Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and they're going to have the most epic day in history of anything. And I really like Cameron, as played by Alan Ruck. I think that that's the thing I think that gives it a very emotional heft to the film. I think it's an interesting theory that you hear about that Cameron was about to commit suicide. And if you watch it from that perspective, then I think it takes on this different meaning because, of course, Cameron is, complaining at first. He doesn't want to go. He's feeling sick. He's feeling sad. But it all sort of builds up to this moment where he destroys the car. He's finally able to confront his dad. And I think that Ferris knows that and knows that Cameron needs to get there. It's certainly, I think, a very interesting interpretation of the movie. And either way, I think that there is something that happens, whether it was premeditated by Ferris or not. It's a moving experience watching the film to see the growth of Cameron throughout everything that happens, his frustration, his jealousy sometimes with Ferris, and him finally getting to that moment where I think it's a very emotional scene when he destroys that car. And of course, Matthew Broderick is so charming as Ferris. He's kind of got it all figured out, and all of his gadgets and stunts and smooth talking is really fun. Like Mia Sara as Sloane, I think the whole that's not the way that I I talk to my dad, kind of a thing is fun. You have Principal Rooney. Of course, Jeffrey Jones, kind of a bad name about him now, but I think he does a good job as sort of the beleaguered principal that is so frustrated. And I also like Jennifer Grey as Ferris's sister, who knows he's lying. He knows that and is just so frustrated that he just gets away with it and she gets punished. And I don't know, I think it's really funny, and I think they get the comedic timing really well. And I think you got this great chemistry between Ferris, Cameron, and Sloane. I think that works really well. Each step of the way in the day is entertaining, whether it's they're in the art museum or whether they're going to the fancy restaurant. When he pretends to be Abe Foreman, the Sausage King of Chicago, that's pretty good, pretty funny in that snooty restaurant. When they go to Wrigley Field, I think that's fun. They just keep it going. They don't obviously spend too long at each spot, and there's scenes where they almost get caught by his mother, almost get caught by his father, almost get caught by Rooney, all that stuff. The parts with his sister, with Rooney, where she thinks he's some kind of intruder, and that all is really funny. Of course, Charlie Sheen makes a memorable entrance into the film, or at the very end of the film. And a really charming movie, especially when you look at it through this lens of Ferris trying to help Cameron come to this spot where he destroys the car. That's really moving. And I kind of like that we don't actually see what happens between the father and son. I don't think we need to, and I think that would just that would be too much. Like, they're already pushing it with the sort of the change in tone in that scene from the rest of the movie. But I don't know. So I think they made the right call there. And it just kind of ends on this sort of bittersweet note. And I really like the acting. I really like the script. I really like the message of sort of friendship there. So it's a really fun movie, fun teen movie. And so let me know what you think if Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a favorite of yours. And thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you later. Bye.